Andrew Callahan here after Friday's practice, the last practice of the week before the Patriots go on the road to Detroit. And Andrew, what are your takeaways from today?
Light practice, the shortest one we've seen so far. They were not in any kind of pads. It wasn't a walkthrough, though. There was some intensity to it because it was a lot of 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 passing drills. So Brady threw a lot of passes. We saw more from Jared Stidham than we've seen all week. And, through that, I thought it was an up and down day, much better from the offense, which we've just seen these huge uncharacteristic mistakes from them the last couple of days. It wasn't to say they ironed all of them out, but it was a positive step forward. And guys like Jacoby Myers, Maurice Harris, who've really been the storyline of camp so far, receivers stepping into these voids left behind by Julian Edelman because of injury, and everyone who left a year ago, they were strong again today. So really good, solid week plus of camp here in Foxborough.
Yeah, another big question mark that we've seen through camp is the left tackle spot. We've seen a lot of Dan Skipper so far. We finally got a chance to talk to Isaiah Wynn after practice, and we asked him, how's he doing so far, and when do you think he's going to be ready? And he directed those questions to Bill Belichick, which is the sort of answer you'd expect from the Patriots, just a non-answer. He says he's feeling good, and he's confident that he's going to be able to get back on the full contact real soon, but we haven't seen him yet.
Yeah, he was there out there, can you tell it's Friday, for 3 reps during team periods today, which was a first. Now, again, no pads, was not full contact, full go, but it's a good sign for Wynn, who's out there with the backup offensive line. It's a backup offensive line. Really is Friday, jeez. And for him, it's important because he was participating in all the positional drills today, another difference from previous practices. So for him, again, they're kind of dipping his toe in the water, and it'll probably go up to his ankle and then his knee. It's going to be a very slow process, but they're confident they'll have a left tackle by the time it's week 1. And your only money, if you're betting on this, is going to be on Isaiah Wynn.
Yeah, so the Patriots wrap up practice this week, lighten things up, and now they're off the next 2 days. The big thing for fans, not so much in a football sense, is tomorrow is Tom Brady's birthday.
No.
He turns 42 tomorrow, so we don't get to see the cake for him. And people did sing happy birthday for Tom Brady today, which is about as close as they're going to get to his actual birthday. But they're off till Monday, at which point they're heading out on the road to Detroit for their first joint practices in 3 years?
2 years. So, 2 years ago they had the Saints and Jaguars here. Of course, no one last season, and now they'll be back in Detroit and then Tennessee. Interesting note, courtesy of Mike Reese and I believe Mike Giardi here today. The Patriots are going to stop in Canton on Sunday en route to Detroit because Ty Law is being inducted into the Hall of Fame, of course, at the Hall of Fame game last night to kick off the preseason. And, of course, there's a lot of history in Canton with the Hall of Fame, and we know no one's bigger in football history than Bill Belichick. So this is a moment to share with Law, but I think also impress upon a lot of the younger players, of which there are many who are going to contribute this season, just fresh faces, what they're stepping into. The league as Belichick knows it, and the teaching goes on daily here in Foxborough, but to take that on the road before they even get to Detroit, I think is a big moment, and a nice way for them to take advantage of this and kind of break up the monotony of training camp.
Yeah, that's something we've heard stories of Belichick doing. Not that he tells us to do it directly, he doesn't tell us anything. But of him just giving a lot of context about where the league's come from. And the Patriots players have said that they appreciate those types of things, whether it's Belichick going on this yearly rant about how hard training camp used to be, or the players that came before him. And it's the sort of thing that when you have a football historian who's been in the same spot for 20 years, you can kind of get away with. But the Patriots have a system in place. They're not really scrambling like a lot of other teams are.
Yeah, no, he loves it. I wrote about this actually before the Super Bowl last year, just of what he says during those meetings, because every Wednesday morning they kick off their preparation for a new team with a big team meeting. He's often talking about the history of that team, which we don't talk about the history of that team because, well, they're focused on today in this team and these players. And to a degree that makes sense, but again, history is constantly coming up around here and around Bill Belichick, and Sunday will really be the biggest day so far for that. Again, when they go to Canton and see everything that's there. But then it's on to business. I mean, 3 practices with the Lions. I'd imagine the last one on Wednesday before Thursday's preseason game will probably be a walkthrough, but it's an opportunity to compete against someone else, and a roster that's better than the one they saw last time in week 3 when they lost 26-10 to Detroit. A lot of familiarity with the staffs, the front offices, and we'll see what happens out there in the field.
Speaking of history, one more thing before we let you go. You had a story going up today about how the Patriots are dipping back into their own history to sort of help out in camp this year. We've seen a lot of familiar faces this year. Who have we seen so far?
Yeah, I mean, back on Monday when they had their annual in-stadium practice here, usually a light one, and a lot of special teams work, you had players walking around, more than 24 former players, who of course in town to see Rodney Harrison get inducted to the Patriots Hall of Fame just a few steps away from us. But Gerard Mayo, of course, is the linebackers coach. He played as recently as 2015. Troy Brown has been working every single day with the wide receivers. He played as recently as 2007. Randy Moss has spoken to the team. Ronnie Harrison has spoken to the team. Willie McGinnis has worked with players and spoken to the team. So you just have all these resources coming about, which happens when you have such continuity and success, of course, all stemming largely from Bill Belichick and secondarily Tom Brady. So when they have, again, we talked about the younger players coming in, it's not only a way to impress upon them as, hey, this is how we do business, but also people love to come back here. And when Belichick and Brady are both surrounded by new faces, Belichick's staff is almost entirely new. Brady's offensive skill position players almost entirely new. They're counting on these old faces to come help set a tone and reestablish a championship culture, which of course carries over a lot from last year. Hey, they just won a Super Bowl, but there's been a lot of change since then, and it's been interesting to see Bill go to somewhere familiar, somewhere that's trusted, and it means a lot of old players still swinging through Foxborough.
All right, so the next time we see the Patriots, it'll be when they're in Detroit, and we'll have the preseason opener on Thursday. Until then, been fun checking in from trainer camp. We'll be back. It'll be a little bit until we have another practice at Gillette, but until then, stay tuned for what Andrew has coming, and stay tuned for more MassLive coverage of Patriots preseason as we get ready for the regular season.
Yeah.
Thanks, folks.
Enjoy the weekend, guys.